Let's talk about the top 20 regional suburbs. The Sunshine Coast, as we said, is outperforming. So the Sunshine Beach has a median house price of $2.82 million, which is only behind Portsea and Flinders, which I found very interesting. That was right at the top there. Sunshine Beach also had the largest sale in Queensland last year at $28 million, and that was 3,500 square metres of beachfront property. Very unique site. And Noosa came in at 9th position and Noosaville at 10th. So what are the common traits of sought-after regional prestige suburbs?
Yeah, so there's a few commonalities here.
Yep.
One of them is going to be access and proximity to the water.
Yeah.
So you can see that clearly. I mean, Noosa Head, Sunshine Beach, Noosaville, Sunrise Beach is on the list there, is I think down the bottom somewhere.
Yeah. And Pridgeon Beach is
Pridgeon's
there as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. So there's also the fact that all these Queensland coastal markets are in the Noosa LGA, right?
Yeah.
So if for anyone who doesn't know, Sunshine Coast is broken up by the Sunshine Coast Council and the Noosa Shire. So Noosa Shire tends to have a tighter town plan, supply additions to the marketplace are generally quite minimal and low density, though that probably will change in the future to some extent, just given affordability challenges, and we need more accommodation for lower income families and service workers and so forth. But I think that's probably the main one is proximity to the water would be key. And then you've also got the lifestyle elements.
Yep.
Even once you get away from the water into some of the hinterland markets, think about like Doonan, Tinbirwa, Lake Wyver, any of those hinterland markets also have, proximity to the water is 10-minute drive.
Yeah.
They've also got a lot of space.
Yeah, that's really interesting. But people sometimes think hinterland. I don't want to live in the hinterland because it's too far from the beach. But it's actually 10 to 15-minute drive in some cases, isn't it? It's very, very close.
Yeah, you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So you can have a big shed for all your toys, and you're only a 10-minute drive from the beach. So.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable. I think also you touched on earlier access to airports as being a key factor, like Brisbane and even local airports. How does that play into it?
Yeah, it's really important. Now that we're in this day and age of remote working and hybrid working arrangements, I think that's got some permanency to it. Maybe not to the same extent as what we had through the worst of the pandemic, but I think the reality is a lot more people will be working remotely at least part of their working week. So having access to an airport is really important. So the Maroochydore Airport up here on the Sunshine Coast, it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's fantastic, but you've got flights direct to Sydney, to Melbourne. Pretty easy drive down to Brisbane if you want to go to Adelaide or Perth or other markets. You can get to some regional markets. There are flights to New Zealand, which are seasonal as well. So it really enables that commutability, not necessarily to Brisbane, which is an hour and a half drive, but to the major financial markets, Sydney, Melbourne, of course. Really important to have connections there. And I'm using that airport weekly, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, it's good to have that on your doorstep.